dream I know, deep up my feelings for you. Watch.
Hello reality viewers, welcome back again to Reality Latest Gist, the home of news and politics. For this channel, we dey drop news every day and we dey react to every videos wey comes our way. And na reality news now we dey drop for this channel, and we dey also dey talk am as e be. If today na the first time we say you dey come across this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you are returning subscribers, I appreciate all of una for una massive support to this channel. I say may God bless all of una in Jesus name, amen. I get video where I want present to una this very moment, and I go to follow una, they watch the video. After we don't watch them together, make we drop our opinion constructively for the comment section. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. Bye for now.
Serious update don't show. Court has given Alhaji Ahmed Bola Tinubu 7 days to give account of Abacha's loot. And the Abacha's loot we are talking about is $5 billion US. Yes. And giving account of this Abacha's loot involve accounting for how much that was received by Olusegun Obasanjo, how much that was received by Yaradua, how much that was received by Buhari, and how much that was received by Goodluck Jonathan. If you don't know, make you know now. Nigeria is a very rich country. Nigeria is a super rich country. Now all these politicians, now them keep you poor. Now all these politicians make you they go church every day, they go pray, they fast. Now all these politicians make you they go mosque every day, they go pray, they fast. They beg God make He bless your destiny. They are responsible for your poverty. And they even hear now say the finance minister of Buhari's administration, whom I am not very sure whether he's still working with Tinubu's administration, is saying they do not have records of how much of Abacha's loot they received. That is the country you live in. And you will go about supporting this politician. I don't want to say anything further. I just want you, as you watch this video finish, this book where you see on the screen, Fighting Corruption and Organized Crime in Nigeria, I take God beg you, go and read this book. This book was written by Ibrahim Lame and Femi Odekunle. After reading this book, most of these politicians where they jump up and down, they support. You would never support any of them. And for you, where they always shout, say, and my brother and I be president, how has he benefited you? You, where your brother don't rule Nigeria for 70 years, 100 years, what have you achieved personally? How has he favored you? Why would they come for the media now to open your eye for you to see the harm where these politicians don't do to your destiny? But some of you know they hear word. Some of you know still one get sense. I beg, I tell God beg you, as you watch this video, share a man another person see him. God bless you.
With reactions trailing an order by the Federal High Court in Abuja requesting the federal government to account for the $5 billion Abacha loot and for the details of the spending to be made public in a judgment delivered on July 3rd in a case filed by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. The presiding judge, James Omotosho, ordered President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to disclose the exact amount of money stolen by General Sani Abacha from Nigeria, the total amount recovered, and all agreements signed by the governments of former presidents Olusegun Obasanjo, Umaru Yar'Adua, Goodluck Jonathan, and Muhammadu Buhari. The judge also ordered the government to disclose the details of the projects executed with the Abacha loot, locations of any such projects, and the names of companies and contractors that carried out the projects since the return of democracy in 1999 till date, as well as the specific roles played by the World Bank and other partners in the execution of any projects funded with the Abacha loots. Well, let's take some reactions, Dr. Bati, before we discuss. This is from Arinze, who wrote, how did $5 billion leave Nigeria? Where did the funds come from? Which federal government account? How was it taken abroad? Where was it placed? Then we can begin to discuss how it came back and so on. I guess he posed a lot of questions there. This is from Dr. Bature. He wrote, this is a win for Nigeria at large. Courtesy SCÁڭ Nigeria, the $5 billion truly needs to be accounted for. What are the projects executed with the recovered loot? We didn't feel the positive impact of the recovered loot. I hope there will be full compliance with the judgment. it is our money. Dr. Martin, it is our money. I know you always use that. I mean, Nigerians are saying it's our money. But again, it is a big win for Sèраф. You know that Sèраф has been doing the Lord's work in, filing these cases. And this is a new administration. And I'm hoping that they will do right by this judgment. That is actually the question. What's going to happen? This judgment, they're saying that it should comply within 7 days. What's going to happen if there's no compliance?
Number one, yes, I agree with you absolutely. That is a big win for Sèраф, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, a civil society group, a non-governmental organization that has been very active, that has been in the forefront of raising questions about the economy, about accountability, and using the Freedom of Information Act majorly as a tool of engaging the Nigerian state. Now, the major issue here is about the right of the citizen to know.
Yes.
Because we have the right to know. So when you say it is our money, what you are saying also is that the people who are the owners of the money have the right to know how that money was spent. That's number one. Number two, it's also a reminder of the kind of corruption that went on under General Sani Abacha. As the Nigerian government, one after the other, got money either from Switzerland or the Cayman Islands or from New Jersey. Abacha got a new title as the ancestor that is always given from the grave, because it looks like there was no end, to the amount of money that had been stashed away, which is also why in many of these African countries and also at the level of the AU, this illicit illicit transfer of national treasure to banks overseas to safe havens has been a major problem. Let me go back to the point about how it's a triumph for Sèраф in terms of using the Freedom of Information Act. Justice James Omotosho based the ruling on Section 7 of the Freedom of Information Act. Section 7 of the Freedom of Information Act simply says that, look, if a public institution is going to deny access to information that is being requested, now you must state reasons why you are not granting that access. And you must communicate same to the body or group that is asking for that information, the applicant, seeking access to that particular information. If you do not do so, you are liable under that Section 7 of the Freedom of Information Act to a fine of 500,000 naira, and the applicant can seek redress in court. So what Sèраф has done is to go to court, and the court has now ruled that the Ministry of Finance cannot avail itself of the provisions of Section 7 of the Freedom of Information Act. So it's simply, a matter of law, and the expectation is that the Ministry of Finance must respect the ruling of the court. Okay, it has the option of going on appeal, but the ruling of the Court of Justice Omotosho for now is that within 7 days it must comply. What the court has done is to stress accountability, is to hold the Ministry of Finance down to the people's right to know how their money was spent. It was looted, it was returned, how was it spent? I think, the ruling is very straightforward, and it is, it is something that will gladden the hearts of many people who have been seeking enforcement of freedom of information. And many people must be alarmed that the Federal Ministry of Finance will say it has no records.
This is my question.
No, how can the Ministry of Finance of Nigeria not have records?
Yes, this is it.
This is the bigger question.
How did that happen, Rufai? You talked about some of the loot that had been returned, I believe one from Jersey, and then I think that they had shared that money in that social register. I don't know if you recall that. I think that was 2 years ago. With that money. But this is the first time that we are seeing that it's $5 billion that aggregate, because there was a lot of discrepancy whether it was 3 billion or whether. It's good that we are seeing this.
So Sèраф says 5 billion. God knows it could be more.
Yeah.
Because what we know was that the monies started returning from the early 1999 to 2000. Swiss government returned a couple, 750 million, in trickles. I think there was an infographic by the BBC a couple of years ago that says 3.25 billion. We don't know how much exactly is the money. I remember the case you were talking about, Malami, the last tranche of return. They said the government was going to be put into some highway, I think Abuja Kano highway and the condition and all of that, which a lot of people kicked against, but they said those were the conditions. And I think the Attorney General there, Malami, defended it. And we had all of this go on for a while. The question is, we deceive ourselves too much in this country. Because you ask a question, how did the money go out? The bad men that helped him carry that money out, they're still around in Nigeria today. They're living a good life, and life has moved on. We don't know what happens in this country. So people are not corrupt alone. They do it with other bad men. And they have them bag the money out, and they're free people today. And the truth has to be said. If we truly want to build this country, let us have a country that has a lot of integrity. We can laugh about it and say, oh, Abacha now is our ancestor sending us money. But this is the money they ought to use to build schools and do infrastructure for people. Some of these monies were carried in cash out of this country. We all remember. And this was a man. Abacha got in 1993 after he removed the National Cup from Fidie, and he died on the 8th of June 1998. In 5 years, he bled the country dry. Do you know how many more people are bleeding the country with their bag men? Is this one? Maybe it's because of the magnanimity of the foreign nations that say, oh, come and see, you have money here. What if we never got? Do you know how many? The chance. And we're saying Nigeria is broke, is poor. Because people are fleecing the country dry every day. People and their bagmen that are still around and moving everywhere. Wasn't the foreign leader that once said, when we're asking for debt relief, and the foreign leader said, if you check the bank accounts of Nigerians abroad, you would not even want to forgive Nigeria's debts. And the money was put in every part, Switzerland, Jersey, and all of that. But their accomplices are around, and we move on, and we celebrate them in society. You see, this country is a country that we've built in such a way that only favors those that are on the top, and those below can go and die. But except we change that status quo, nothing will change. Yes. So for your question that you asked, how did the money move around? The bag men are still very much around, and life has moved on from there. And I'm also happy, Sèŕìous, as Dr. Bati said, asking for FY to be able to get all the details of this and all of that. But the sad reality is, as we speak, maybe in the future, when we get to look back, a lot of something is still happening. It's Nigeria, it's the corruption. The day we change that mentality and use the money for the citizen, Nigeria will be better. Yes. We can actually build a great country. Yes, but we see what happens because of corruption.
So if you did right, wanna still live on a comment below. If you did bad, wanna still live on a comment below. Wanna remember, say everybody gets freedom of speech. Okay? Alright. Thank you very much.